In a world that worships the goddess of light like a parent, Nyan Vin Thon, a light-level adventurer in the urban city, harbors a deep grudge against the one everyone reveres. He leads the elite squad to fight the demon lord, but ends up betrayed by his teammates, his body torn apart like a rag by the demon. Reborn once again, he becomes a badass demon lord, wielding terrifying dark powers and commanding countless talented servants. The one who hated demons the most is now the Demon King. It's ridiculous, but his angelic grudge is so huge that despite hating demons to the core, he has to embrace that power to get revenge. One hand slams hard against the blood-stained wall. The Moon Sailor's staff is shattered too. Light Priest Nyan Vin Thon, buried underground, shivers uncontrollably, blood trickling down the corners of his mouth. He doesn't understand why. After all, why does an angel devoted to the light like him have to stand alongside demons? Hearing this, Nyan Vin Thon protests unwillingly. The goddess of light calls out, yet she just stands there, folding her hands behind the smirking Demon King. At that moment, the last kiter finally speaks up. Humans can't win this war, she's just making the smartest choice. Hearing that Nyan Vin Thon can't take it anymore, he points a finger straight at the weak, timid woman before him. If she hadn't betrayed them in battle, they wouldn't have ended up this miserable. Seeing his strong reaction, the Demon King raises two fingers in front of him. Now you're the only one who can heal. Nyan Vin Thon, what can you even do? Then with that momentum, the finger moves, and Vin Thon's whole body is thrown high into the air. The cute staff slips from his weak hand. Looking through the small hole in his palm, the Demon King is thrilled. His power spirals deep into Vin Thon's tiny body. Just a tight grip, and fresh blood spurts out everywhere. At that moment, the system's voice rings out beside the one who received the Demon Lord system. What's going on? Didn't Nyan Vin Thon just get crushed by that demon? Immediately, the level 1 demon altar is transmitted. Nyan Vin Thon, the furious demon lord, uses it to unleash part of the skills gained during battle, able to extract a huge amount of rage from the enemy's soul. Suddenly his eyes snap open and a small altar appears before him. The space around is filled with wooden coffins looking utterly desolate. Walking here, Nyan Vin Thon is very confused. His gaze sweeps everywhere. What is this place? Why are there as many as 10 coffins? At this moment, the system appears before him. You are now the new Demon Lord. Please upgrade this place to unlock 10 legendary demons. Here you gain the skill, Summon Training Demon, able to summon the souls of dead individuals whose level is not higher than yours, and transform them into demons to serve you forever. Demons can be stored in demon space. You also get the Demon Domination spell skill, able to dominate most demons of lower level within 2 seconds. Is this a joke? For years, Vin Thon has pursued the battle between demons and light, and now he's becoming a demon lord of evil. Is this payback? At that moment, from one coffin, a surge of dark energy suddenly gathers, catching Vin Thon's attention. If he can seize this power, he just might. Taking revenge for the Archangel. Then the Archangel colludes with demons, only to be killed by a devil in the end. How ridiculous. If that's the case, then I'll take this power and immediately step into the sacrificial altar. A small bolt of lightning suddenly bursts out, shooting straight up into the sky, then zaps back toward the coffin, emitting that ominous aura. The gloomy blue suddenly bursts into sparkling light. Archangel Kwang Min, just wait, Vin Thon will definitely come looking for you to settle the score. Meanwhile, over on the side, a simple grave is finished for Vin Thon. Looking at the photo in front of him, the level 2 adventurer to Din Fong can't help but feel regret. This lousy guy actually left his comrades to die alone. But before he could dwell on it, Vin Thon's voice suddenly rings into Din Fong's ear, making him jump in shock. He says, "At least we gotta set up a solid tombstone for this dude." Vin Thon was just a bit lazy, but the gravestone was already set up. Seeing this figure, to Din Fong was stunned, mouth wide open. It really was Vin Thon, 100% legit. Unable to hold back the flood of emotions in his fragile heart, to Din Fong was crying, his eyes out, nose running, tears streaming down non-stop, all flowing one after another. They all thought Vin Thon had really gone to meet his ancestors. He even cleaned this grave for a full 5 years. Where the hell did Vin Thon go? Didn't even say a word to his comrades. Hearing that number from Vin Thon's buddy, of course, to Din Fong was kinda shocked. Feels like just yesterday, but it's already been 5 years. He was only at the sacrificial altar for a moment. Riding into Din Fong's coupe, speeding down the road, Vin Thon kept scanning everywhere. That cliff over there, since when did it get an angel statue? According to Din Fong, after the Great Battle, when the Archangel defeated the devil, humans built that to worship together. But what shocked Vin Thon the most was the Archangel defeating the devil no way right. But Din Fong wasn't lying. If Vinthon hadn't told him the truth, he almost believed the Archangel's devilish lies. But that's a story for later. Right now, the most important thing is to welcome Vinthon back. However, he's not ready to celebrate just yet. First, he should go home to change clothes, then head straight to the dungeon city. Taking Vinthon's advice was fine, but Dinfong had to get some cash first. 5 years away, things had changed a bit. Yeah. Just before reaching the dungeon city gate, Vinthon couldn't hold back and shouted, "Do you still need money to get into the dungeon city now?" Seriously, a level 1 dungeon ticket costs 10,000, and they take 80% off as a cut. How shady is that? Hearing this, the burly man immediately spoke up. "Where's the shady part? It's been this price for 5 years, don't go spouting nonsense. Have you thought about the reasons income hasn't increased all these years? Have you seriously fought in the dungeon city?" At this point, Vinthon lost his cool, furious. "You dumbass, if I don't beat you into a dwarf, then I'm not Vinthon." In the end, Dinfong stepped in to drag him away. Years ago, when the dungeon city appeared in this world, monsters from the dungeon could attack the human world anytime. So, a large number of human adventurers stormed into the dungeon city to fight monsters. Elite adventurers were nearly wiped out in one battle, and he was the only lucky survivor. Since Archangel Kwang Min declared victory over the devil, the big guild, the little guy no longer saw the dungeon as a threat but turned it into their money-making tool. But let's be real, Vinthon rushing like that means he had a plan, right? Right now, your rank has been reset to level 1, planning to lead you to level up after killing the Great King. You transformed it into a demon, and that thing is coming. Then, from a dark corner, a level 1 little scorpion monster crawled out. With these monsters, Dinfong used his magic space to launch straight forward. A shield blocking the professional scorpion's claws slashed across the side of the other monster, instantly killing it. Like that, with Vinthon cheering him on, Dinfong kept killing the leveling monsters. Now, Vinthon has reached level 2. All thanks to his awesome teammate. Next, he's gonna show Dinfong some cool stuff. As soon as he said that, Vinthon sent out a few small lightning bolts straight to the demons inside. After this declaration, the scorpion's corpse was torn apart, then burst into red flames, directly transforming into an amazing scorpion demon warrior. Stepping in front of the demon he created, Vinthon was a bit surprised. Wait, it took a human form. Looks like it has the traits of demons that can shapeshift. Now the two of them teamed up to clear out the small monsters before the Great King. Come on, following Vinthon's orders. The two scorpion demons dashed off like lightning. Their slashes flashed in a blink. Because of that, Vinthon gained tons of experience points. Looks like the summoning system summons demons stronger than the same level small monsters now. Following Dinfong from start to finish, you can't help but be impressed. Vinthon said, while sleeping, his little bro stays in the dungeon automatically killing monsters. So isn't that basically leveling up while lying down? That's seriously awesome. When Vinthon got the system, he already thought it through. But now the dungeon entry is like a rose and a trap. He knows well that killing the Great King first is the priority. While they were talking, suddenly a small demon scorpion's head flew right in front of them. No way. The little demon was chopped up like veggies and killed. Looking at Vinthon, the demon could only apologize to its master. They weren't a match for that thing, but it's all good. Vinthon never expected these level 1 demons to fight the Great King anyway. Facing Vinthon now was the boss Great King, he mentioned. The boss was a giant scorpion demon from the Mailer tribe. Following the old rules, Dinfong stepped forward. Vinthon stood behind him, but this time, he had a different plan. This time he switched it up and let Dinfong take the front. You're bad at attacking, you're the bait, and Dinfong will strike when the chance comes. Trust me, nothing will go wrong. After saying this, Vinthon immediately called the boss a scoundrel. Then he raised a friendly finger mocking it. Instantly, the boss got insulted. The Great King roared angrily. Now was the moment. According to the plan, Vinthon and Dinfong split and ran in opposite directions. Just as expected, the Great King chased after the one who insulted him, trying to attack. When its giant jaws opened wide to bite, Vinthon's eyes suddenly changed color, his soul shaking. Distracting the boss, Vinthon signaled Dinfong to strike quickly. Listening to his buddy, Dinfong rushed forward and stabbed hard into the monster's tail. Just as the attack landed, Vinthon's soul shock effect faded away. The boss's roar echoed right in my ear. Then, that massive beast collapsed hard onto the ground, shattering into pieces. Without missing a beat, that boss dug a hole and disappeared deep underground, but Vinthon stayed totally chill through it all. This move is called the Small Sand Knife Butt by Dinfong. This time, it's even more advanced. Seeing Vinthon gesture, Dinfong got a bit suspicious. If it weren't true, how else? This boss is armored all over, except for its butt and belly. Don't worry, Vinthon's got his own tricks. Soon it'll try to sneak attack you because you can track it for a short time and you're unarmed. Because it fears your soul's shockwave, it's most likely to appear behind Din Fong's back. Just stand facing Vin Than, keep your distance, and as soon as it pops out, stab it right away. Just trust me. You really live up to being an old driver man. Your combat experience is seriously impressive. And just as expected, the ground behind Vin Than started shaking immediately. Right after that, Boss charged straight at him, waiting for the perfect moment. Din Fong, standing to the side, gripped his sword tight and stabbed straight into the boss's belly. Feeling the pain, the giant beast jumped high. Its big foot smashed through Din Fong's small shield. When it got close to the small eye, it instantly stopped. Then Vin Fong urged Din Fong, "You can only hold it off for a bit. Finish it quickly, no time to waste." Din Fong charged forward. One slash killed the boss in front of him, causing the level 2 Laker's rebellious armor to fall off. The shield blocked some damage from the level 2 Laker's bite. Vin Than reached out and gathered everything back. Although the dungeon was different, this place had many similar terrains. He had fought bosses like this in high-level dungeons, so he guessed the lower-level ones were pretty much the same. He handed the small shield to Din Fong. Both then left the area. Now standing in front of the dumbass Chow Thiet, Vin Than slammed his fist on the table and shouted, "Did the guild really buy up all the dungeon materials? According to your prices, you can only sell them here." So what, Vin Than wasn't buying any of that. He was so pissed he was shaking. To make it worse, the other guy had the nerve to flash a friendly finger at him. What a jerk. But looking at his lackeys, Vin Than swallowed his anger and walked away. Even worse, that dumbass demanded both of them compensate for his psychological damage too. By then, Vin Than couldn't take it anymore. His eyes blazed. Meanwhile, while all the lackeys were watching TV and chatting about the world, that dumbass was in a dark room. Blood dripped from the corner of his mouth. After successfully luring the lackeys to the wrecked car, Vin Than suddenly appeared out of nowhere. When he returned, the dumbass couldn't stand anymore. His face looked dazed, overwhelmed by the soul shockwave. Suddenly, Vin Than jumped out from behind, kicking the guy straight in the face. Holding a small blade, he knocked away the guy firing shots. He rushed forward, and with one strike cut off the guy's arm. Once again, he unleashed a soul shockwave on everyone. The guys were stunned, and Vin Than calmly walked to the door ahead. As he stepped inside, he was shocked. The room was filled with dark energy. On the table lay a pair of long, seductive legs, tangled around some substance. This guy was all detained, calmly walked to the door in front of Vin Than. As soon as I entered, I was startled. This room is filled with negative energy. There are also a pair of long, attractive legs surrounding the table, growing all kinds of severed heads, and right in the middle was that melon-headed dude. "So he's been hiding here eating people," Vin Than had said. He had to get his stuff back, and hearing that, the melon-headed guy instantly summoned 2 small fireballs, ready to teach Vin Than a lesson. Let's see if he's worthy. When he saw Vin Than charging, the fat guy immediately unleashed his power to attack. But those weak-ass skills, no way they'd scare Vin Than. With his slick combat skills, he spun a full 360 in midair, eyes locked on the chubby dude in front of him, making the guy freeze up in fear. Not giving him time to react, Vin Than gripped his small knife tight and charged forward, swinging non-stop. Only then did the fat guy remember the kid in front of him was a level 1 healer registered in the city, but how the hell was he so damn agile? Suddenly, the sharp knife darted right in front of the fat guy, freaking him out. That's pure nerve reflex. Hitting the enemy triggers the user's nerves, allowing for a quick follow-up attack. After dodging Vin Than's strike, the fat guy let out a relieved breath. Damn, that was close. But before he could relax, he got scared out of his mind again. His glasses cracked in half in an instant. At that moment, Vin Than rushed up to him, smiling and praising, "Nice. You know, fire magic, and can even fly. You're totally worth being my slave." After saying that, a long slash appeared on the man's face, slowly bleeding. Then a muscular arm crawled out of his mouth. Seeing this, Vin Than froze for a second, then a loud crash echoed. Rocks shattered and flew everywhere. Under the shimmering moonlight, a shadow appeared. It was a level 2 elite demon, a fire-wielding enemy. After burning the fat guy's body, the demon looked surprised. He thought the chubby bastard had faced some tough opponent, but it was just a level 2 adventurer. Only problem was, he accidentally burned the binding mark. What a bummer. Now I gotta find a new host. Such a pain. While the demon was distracted, Vin Than reached out to cast a demon subjugation spell, but as soon as the aura spread, the demon quickly flew away. He didn't know what Vin Than was trying, but a long casting spell like that couldn't catch him. Then, the demon zipped back and forth, leaving streaks of light in the dark space, laughing maniacally. "Can't keep up with my speed, huh?" While Vin Than stood stunned, a purple flame suddenly flew beside him. but Vinthon quickly used it as a springboard to launch himself high up, successfully escaping being burned alive. Still, he was shocked to see the spot where the flame hit was oozing, burning right through the floor. No wonder it's a level 2 elite magic. Those guys downstairs probably won't survive. Looking at the situation now, the space is tight, plus the elite demon's fire magic. This place is seriously disadvantageous. Vinthon has to switch battlegrounds, no time to waste. Come on, Vinthon immediately curved and dashed away, catching the demon off guard, but the demon quickly reacted and gave chase. Vinthon thought hiding in the forest would provide cover, but his fire wasn't ordinary fire. You see, it was hellfire, with a special time effect that burns through anything he hides behind. Eventually, it would just turn everything to ash. Darting past towering trees, the elite demon aggressively hunted its prey. Just after a little laugh, the kid vanished. Looks like a scared little mouse, huh? But that's not all. He could sense that this human wasn't like a typical level 2 grunt. He was seriously sneaky. Feeling some kind of energy approaching the demon, he quickly turned his head, but before he could react, a sharp blade suddenly slashed right in front of him, cutting straight into his muscular thigh. Naturally, the demon got pissed off. Clenching his blazing fire tightly, he charged forward, but Vinthon just leaned to the side, dodging the attack like a pro. A fierce wind blew in. The demon then sped straight ahead, his face tightening with frustration. A weak little scaredy cat daring to hurt a demon like him. Let's see if he gets skinned alive once caught. So, both ran side by side, eyes locked on each other. The demon instantly reached out toward Vinthon, and a pinkish-purple flame appeared. Looks like he locked onto him. Saying this, the pink flame was unleashed, burning every big tree in its path, causing an explosion rivaling a nuclear bomb. But as the strange fire came at him, Vinthon used his speed to dodge it, ignoring the flames scorching the green canopy. When he reached a small cliff in the forest, Vinthon finally stopped, looking up with a bit of confusion. The demon had finally caught up. Don't think your youth and skinny frame can save you. You're walking straight into your doom now, huh? Seeing the kid panic didn't faze the demon. He raised his hand again, the pink flame flickering once more. Let's see where Vinthon can run now. Right after that, the demon unleashed his terrifying fire, shooting it straight at Vinthon. And so, the fire's overwhelming power flared up, burning everything in its path, and causing a massive explosion. A huge cliff face was shattered in an instant. Seeing the cliff burn to nothing, the demon was ecstatic. Not a single trace left behind. The chubby guy before had diabetes, needing daily insulin shots that almost made him lose it. Better switch hosts and learn from this. No more chubby guys. But who should he pick next? Lost in thought, suddenly, the demon's legs sank into the ground. A golden claw emerged from below, gripping tightly onto his sturdy thighs. Immediately, the demon was caught by a giant spider, treated like prey. Didn't expect a backup move. Looking around confused, the demon realized the human must have already turned to ash. But where the hell did this spider come from? Suddenly, the demon glanced at a large hole, just big enough for a human body underground. Could it be that before he unleashed his big move, that kid had already finished preparing? Taking advantage of his overconfidence and lowered guard, the servant appeared from the ground to restrain him. But at this stage, was he already trying to flip the script, planning to unleash more fire? The demon was startled when a chain suddenly swung out from nowhere, wrapping tightly around his neck. At that moment, Vinthon, with his fierce demonic aura, stepped beside the other guy and growled, "Stop all his moves right now." This aura truly scared the demon shitless, making his whole body tremble uncontrollably. Then, Vinthon ordered the servant to release the demon, then commanded him to quickly hand over everything on him. Upon hearing this, the demon seemed hypnotized, obediently rummaging through his space and pulling out tons of gear, piles of gold and silver, and money. The greedy fat demon had already converted his loot into gold bars, with some random equipment left. The rest of the treasure was stored in the guild's warehouse. Just counting this pile of gold was worth more than 10 million, and cutting off income from the low-level dungeon was already terrifying enough. While lost in thought, Vinthon suddenly got an alert from the system. The target was about to break free from the enslaved state. At that moment, from the demon's hand a pink flame flickered again. Then, he boldly shot it straight at Vinthon with a face full of satisfaction. But with his quick reflexes, Vinthon instantly ducked down, successfully dodging the attack. Then a swift strike took off the fat demon's head. With just that move, Vinthon gained 300 experience points, leveling up to level 3, and earned the Lord privileges. Right after, with a dark aura, Vinthon turned to look at the loyal demon corpse. So this time, Vinthon had tamed this dumb demon, his third slave. The only downside was returning to level 3 in a low-level dungeon cut off by the Lu Mang Guild. The urgent task now was to find a dungeon free from control. If this demon knew where the other monsters were, he could quickly lead him to their dungeon. The next morning at Din Fong's house, he received a strange package, heavy and big. Could someone be playing dirty? He sent back a few bricks, but as soon as Din Fong opened the package, a big shield hit him right in the face. Then came a letter from Vin Thon. Got your shield back for you. Don't go donating all the gold. Save some for me. Hit me up if you want to visit the dungeon. Holding his own shield, Din Fong was super happy. But holding the gold made him even happier. It was the first time he ever held a gold bar, definitely hitting the jackpot. At that moment, after sending the third slave to deliver the package to Din Fong, Vin Thon was very satisfied. But was the address really correct? Isn't that one of the Radiant Light temples? Why did the demon introduce this place? According to the demon's explanation, the Radiant Light Archangel's power was supported by several large and small temples, forming one temple. Her power would be somewhat reduced. Meanwhile, elsewhere, among the wreckage, a man kept asking the people around about his sister. He was a level 3 adventurer from the guild who had killed the treasure management minister Chao Dong. According to all assessments, everything here had been burned to ashes. According to the info found, this is a special fire magic mixed with a time element that they've never seen before in low-level adventurers. No one in the guild records knows this type of magic either. The most important thing is no matter what it takes, they have to find out the whereabouts of that 10,000-strong group called the Bronze Clan, no matter what. The dead are dead, but money is what really matters. If the angels find out they let such a huge sum get stolen so easily, they might not be so forgiving next time. Meanwhile, a fallen Radiant Knight at level 3 buckled his knees to the ground, then collapsed instantly, giving Vin Thon 8 experience points. He said it one last time, thinking of you guys is also thinking of himself. Vin Thon used to be radiant. He accepted your surrender, handing over the guns instead of killing. But it seems like those words didn't faze the soldiers one bit. As an attack swung at him, Vin Thon leaned aside and countered with his blade. Seriously, if you keep ignoring the truth, the only ending is death. Just like that, the head of a tall soldier was ripped off his skinny neck again. Right after, when another soldier with a big sword charged, Vin Thon immediately glared, locking eyes with him. His soul surged, and with just this move, he easily pushed the soldier back. No other choice. The remaining soldiers immediately teamed up to gang up on Vin Thon. They wanted to use their bodies to shove him off the bridge, but there's no way Vin Thon would back down that easily. The two of them flared up, their souls shaking the floor. Only this time, the system reminded Rage, not enough. Meanwhile, the big soldiers with their sturdy shields charged fiercely forward. Vin Thon quickly jumped high with a kick, leaving the crowd below stunned. Then he kicked hard into the head of the nearest soldier, swung his sharp sword, chopping off the next guy's head. Seeing the soldiers above, freaking out over a level 2 kid, Hua, behind, said smugly, "There's only one of them. How come trained soldiers like us can't stop him?" But no one cared about Hua's words. The soldiers only focused on Vin Thon's figure in front of them. Right now they can't retreat anymore. If they do, the daring army will step in. Fed up with the chaotic mess, the level 3 elite female commander of the fallen Radiant Knights immediately swung her big mace overhead. Just as a soldier reacted in time, her mace slammed down, shaking the ground like it wanted to tear it apart, blowing away everyone there. No matter if friend or foe, a terrifying aura burst out, shredding the bodies before her, dragging a long trail on the ground, with thick white smoke rising up. But surprise, from within the smoke, a voice suddenly echoed, "You just wiped out your own troops to deal with me. You guys are even more devilish than my enemies." At that, one enemy nearby sneezed, about to head to the city but got called out. Then from behind a big shield, Vin Thon popped his head out. Luckily, his shield took the hit for him. Right after, Vin Thon raised his friendly middle finger toward the angry guy in front. To translate for him, the El Sir's call, that's pure contempt. "You holy beach," standing before Vin Thon, the warlord coldly spoke to him, "an adventurer like an ant, plus a lowly demon, he will definitely make you regret stepping into this holy land." After saying that, the warlord once again lifted his 1,000-pound pole, then swung it straight down. Immediately after, a cute innocent head instantly fell. Along with that, the guy beside him trembled non-stop from fear, begging the opponent not to kill him. He wasn't ready to kick the bucket that soon. Facing this utterly terrified man, another guy in front pulled out his limited edition 16 Pro Max phone. He was searching for someone in this photo. 3 years ago, this person was part of the guild, but after leaving, his new location wasn't updated. Rumor has it this guy is still in contact with him. Seeing to Din Fong's face in the picture, the curly-haired guy, though scared shitless, immediately recognized him. At this, the level 4 NATO assassin adventurer glared and growled, "Where is he?" Looking at the innocent head of Yen right before him, the curly-haired guy was horrified. The guild president was killed by this guy in a flash. If he played mind games, even a second would be fatal, right? With no other way to save his life, the curly-haired guy spilled that Din Fong was living at intersection number 35, the crossroads of 20th Street and 20th Avenue. Right after confessing, he immediately turned tail and ran, but it seemed he trusted too much. That NATO guy just played him, smirking savagely. NATO waved his hand, and the dark magic slash instantly cut the curly-haired guy's body in half. Meanwhile, at Din Fong's house, the doorbell suddenly rang. Could it be a package? But when he opened the door, Nato Trin In's face appeared right in front of him, smiling brighter than sunshine. At this moment, sitting on a dazzling throne, the warrior was startled, seeing a figure appear in the distance. It was Nan Vinthan level 4. Walking in, seeing him, the man was puzzled. Why the hell is a worm let in here? What's the warlord doing, asleep or what? Hearing this name, Vinthan slapped his hands together with a smack. Ah, he forgot. Then, from his personal space, Vinthan directly tossed an item in front of the man, probably referring to this. Right, it rolled a few times, then stopped at the man's feet. The warlord's head literally hit his eyes. Yeah, the warlord was asleep, but this time, he wouldn't wake up again. Seeing what was at the man's feet made him ponder, so he could kill a level 3 elite without a scratch. Looks like Vinthan is tougher than your average worm, saying that the man immediately grabbed his weapon. Though he was somewhat better than the bugs outside, he had no idea who he was facing now. Why did he say that? Simply because he was Kwang Min Sa Doa, captain of the Holy Power Knights. Agas-level tactician. No way to know the confident aura of this guy beforehand. Vinthan created a small hole in his hand and used Soul Shock, but unexpectedly, the target's level was too high. His Soul Shock was countered, leaving Vinthan no time to react. The Agas-level guy immediately shot up high. The wielder swung the great sword down with a loud crash. Then came a horizontal slash. Before this attack, Vinthan quickly drew his treasured sword and blocked the opponent's powerful strike. The only problem was the huge difference in strength between them. In an instant, Vinthan was blasted high into the air by that blow. For a moment, Vinthan couldn't help but ponder. The boss's power and speed were way beyond those of the small soldiers before. Once again, Vinthan spun a full 360 degrees in midair. From his hand, a different dark energy began to gather. Then, the familiar pink flame ignited, shooting straight at the big boss. Facing this counterattack, Agas angrily raised his giant sword to block his holy shield energy holding firm. The two forces collided. Then there was an explosion, dust and smoke billowing, obscuring the view. When the clash cleared, Agas's figure still stood firm on the cracked ground. Staring at his holy sword, he couldn't hide his shock. His holy shield was supposed to be the strongest defense at his level, so why did this low-level fire skill shatter it? What the hell was going on? Before Agas could react, Vinthan suddenly lunged forward, stabbing straight into the big iron helmet on Agas's head. Black smoke poured out thick and fast. Shaking, Agas glanced back at the bold kid, clinging to him. He looked furious, so this punk was using smoke as cover to sneak attack. This kid had zero morals, a real punk. He deserved to be called old man. At this compliment, Vinthan just laughed heartily. Keep flattering me like that and I'll get shy. Hearing that from a kid really cracked him up. Hilarious. Weren't those bright gods women traitors to humanity? So what kind of morals were they talking about? Where the hell were they? But how to answer Agas didn't get a chance. At the sarcastic remark, he suddenly buckled and collapsed, gripping his sword tightly as his hands trembled. Right then, mimicking Vinthan, Agas swung his sword straight behind him, but Vinthan quickly dodged by leaning aside. Still, he was a bit caught off guard. He clearly stabbed Agas's weak spot earlier, so how was he counterattacking? Then, a beam of light suddenly wrapped around Agas's neck. Just as Vinthan suspected, it was the effective healing spell from his own priest's divine mind technique. That spell couldn't save the dying, but now, despite blood streaming down his back, Agas gritted his teeth and forcefully hurled Vinthan high into the air. Then, with one hand holding his glowing sword, he scattered that lowly worm. Just like that, the bright god's holy spear unleashed a massive beam of light shooting forward. It felt like it could burn all living things. Vinthan refused to dodge. That power shot thousands of miles away. When it ended, Agas couldn't see Vinthan anywhere. Calmly, he turned and walked back to his throne, muttering under his breath, "How can guild people be so useless? Can't even handle things at the door. And they let this kind of scum inside." He hadn't even sat on his throne yet. Agas was furious. Suddenly, a voice rang in his ear. "You remember who you are now." Hearing this, the Agas guy instantly whipped his head around, staring back at that kid. After that hit, he's still alive. Now standing face to face with this boss. Vinthan's lips curled up. Years ago, he was a newbie when a friend of his got killed by the guild's people, who stole a rare demonic ore and was nearly beaten to death. That friend went to the adventurer's court, hoping to reclaim justice. But instead, his team was accused of stealing others' resources and stripped of their adventurer status, while the villain, an elite from the major guild, faced zero punishment. Level 3 guild killed Xiao Dong. Back then, the decision was made. Isn't this niche Thien still working at the court? Hearing this, the Aegis guy snapped back. They've got the goddess's favor above and countless followers below. What can weak adventurers do to them? At that moment, he gathered energy into his sword, which gleamed brightly. Nah. Earlier, letting Vinthon dodge was just him underestimating his opponent. The next sword strike would lock him down. No way they could dodge it. The Aegis guy yanked his sword from the ground, unleashing his sacred power. Once he declared guilt, the one who'd die was definitely Vinthon. Before the strike, Vinthon quickly jumped back. Then came the Aegis guy's sword, radiating a strong demonic force, locking onto him. Dodging it would be insanely tough. Looks like he had no choice but to use that move. Thinking this, Vinthon stretched out his hand, releasing pink energy. The time shield technique consumes 100 mana, absorbing most damage from the enemy's skill by burning the enemy's skill cooldown. The Aegis guy was caught off guard. That kid survived his holy trap before using this, but this time he wouldn't be so lucky. Right after, the big sword flew at Vinthon's shield, clashing fiercely. Watching the fight, the Aegis guy smirked. Level 3 can open shields at this level, definitely stronger than newbies. But too bad he ran into him, now facing the brutal sword, trying to break his shield. Vinthon gritted his teeth, but in the end, the shield broke. The big sword pierced through. Then, a massive explosion erupted, blowing away everything nearby. Seeing this power, the Aegis guy thought he'd unleashed way too much magic force. Today, he was way stronger than usual. But surprisingly, when the smoke cleared and the explosion ended, Vinthon was still standing firm on the ground, right in front of the Aegis guy's eyes. His eyes widened in disbelief. How did that kid survive? What's going on? Did he not hold back that strike? Actually, Vinthon had used the enemy's fire time skill to form a shield for himself. It really worked the same as long as the opponent's level didn't clearly suppress him. The special effect of burning time can also be used as an offensive skill. No longer standing still, Vinthon gathered a small pink flame in his palm. Now it's his turn to strike back. Using the last of his divine rage power, he poured all his strength into this attack. Finally, Vinthon angrily hurled it straight at that Aegis guy, and of course the dude caught off guard. Only managed to raise his sword to block in front of him, facing that massive power head on. This Aegis dude looks pretty beat up, huh? So that terrifying shockwave power is real, but what can it really do? Either way, he just needs to know he's not strong enough to block this counterattack. So that huge energy blast surged past his sword, a strike that took over the entire space, burning a chunk of earth and rock until the pink flames died down and the place where the throne stood was already blown away. And of course, Aegis was still standing there, but his body didn't look too healthy anymore. Only then did he finally speak honestly. He was kinda surprised to be able to fight him at this level. Vinthon really weighs more than those adventurers he fought before. But unfortunately, with a small wound like this, he could totally heal himself in no time. Right after Aegis grabbed his sword, his arm that had been blown off was also trying to recover. But then came the shock. It probably wasn't Vinthon anymore, but Aegis himself, eyes wide open, veins popping red. This guy couldn't even heal his own wounds. What the hell was going on? Suddenly, a dark aura burst out from his body like blood. Looking at his deep red hand, he was stunned. Was this attack some kind of special effect? Before he could figure it out, he instantly collapsed to his knees with a thud. Up to this moment, Vinthon finally spoke. This was the second time he had to kneel. The proud Radiant Knight's knees were really weak. He kinda doubted that. Now the once cocky knight finally knew what fear was, his whole body trembling, stammering and begging Vinthon to spare his life. Just spare him, and he'd do anything. Hearing this, the corner of Vinthon's mouth twitched, feeling a bit annoyed. Was there something he hadn't told yet? The friend who lost his adventurer job could only look for other work to survive, but because the economy sucked. Plus those companies feared offending the Chow family, no company was willing to hire that teammate. They saw him as bad luck. Offending the Chow family. Who could you blame for this? Only him for being clueless. If it were them, they'd have just died already. Vinthon and Mang just wanted to bring some money to help that guy get through tough times. They knocked for half a day with no response, called the landlord to open the door, only to find out they were too late. So Aegis wondered if Vinthon would spare him or not. He snatched the other guy's sword and stared down at him. Now Aegis was trembling, begging him to agree. Follow him, tell him everything he knew, and Vinthon actually agreed. This dude thought Vin Thon had let his guard down, that he'd saved some magic power to counterattack now. But before he could do anything, the big sword swung down and chopped off his round head. Wanna follow Vin Thon? Only after you're dead. After leveling up to level 5, talking about slaves, he suddenly remembered he'd already sent Bangdich to another city to grind experience right. The experience points haven't changed at all, huh? He immediately contacted Bangdich. Right now he's stuck in a tough spot. At this moment, Din Fong is sitting clutching his stomach, breathing heavily, while Bangdich is facing off against that NATO dude. Seeing this guy, he couldn't help but frown in annoyance. Damn, who the hell are you? Why are you blocking him? But despite that, Bangdich firmly held his ground. Even if that NATO guy wiped out everyone in the city, he wouldn't care. However, the person behind him is someone from the Lord, so he can't make a move. Hearing this, Din Fong immediately realized, the Lord, is he from Vin Thon? Looks like your buddy's got a new disciple these days. Right now, Din Fong is badly injured and can't help. Bangdich still warned the opponent to be careful, because this enemy is insanely strong. Flashback to an hour ago when the door just opened. Din Fong was rushed by that NATO guy and slammed flying backward. Before he could react, he unleashed a strike that smashed Din Fong through the glass, throwing him outside. Seriously dangerous. Just one hit from this guy knocked Din Fong unconscious. When he woke up, he was in an abandoned parking lot outside the embassy. At that moment, NATO suddenly charged and punched Bangdich hard in the gut, a brutal blow. At this speed, it's even faster than Vin Thon's. He shoved Bangdich back with one hand. NATO then thrust his hand forward, releasing a surge of energy, ready to hit Bangdich as soon as he was thrown back, sensing the enemy's plan. Bangdich immediately regained his balance. His legs dug in hard to stop himself from being taken down by the Grim Reaper's scythe. With such skilled moves, NATO was visibly shocked. That little guy didn't get hit by his attack. Could it be that this dude can see his invisible hidden moves? Now, having dodged to the side, Bangdich finally exhaled. Although he couldn't see anything, there was always a faint magical fluctuation here. Plus, that guy suddenly cast a spell this way, so it definitely meant something. Better to stay cautious. After all, he'd already taken a hit from Vin Thon before. Still lost in thought, a fist suddenly swung right in front of Bangdich, but quickly. He dodged to the side in a flash, not giving up NATO after failing with a punch. Swung his 2-meter-long legs again. A powerful kick hit Bangdich's face, sending him flying backward. Right now, this guy's moves are just too fast. Bangdich didn't even have time to cast a counterspell before Vin Thon warned him not to use his demon form outside the city. This is definitely a problem. At this moment, NATO clenched his 5 fingers again, then blasted a powerful energy beam straight ahead, tearing Bangdich's body apart, leaving only drops of blood scattered weakly on the ground. Bangdich still felt regret. It's not just about losing his life, but failing to protect Vin Thon's friend, which is truly heartbreaking. Stepping beside the fallen Bangdich, NATO immediately smiled. Though he didn't understand how Bangdich dodged his attack, his hidden moves aren't fixed or static. Still lying on the ground, Bangdich suddenly received a notification. His lord had shared a master skill, and now he could summon the lord in reverse direction. Just like that, summoning the demon lord in the opposite direction, immediately wrapped around the enemy's body, who had just closed his eyes, ready to accept defeat at the hands of that man, with a swift slash. After NATO's attack, only some cracks appeared on the ground, but the body was nowhere to be seen. Startled, he turned his head back, and saw Vin Thon dragging those 2 people to a corner with lightning-fast speed. This guy was extremely surprised. Are you kidding me? He's famous for speed that even the eye can't catch up. Why is there another dude? Wasn't that kid supposed to be his second target, so why did he come knocking on the door himself? Before he could finish his sentence, Vin Thon raised his hand to cover his mouth. It's not your turn to talk yet. After letting the enemy lead Din Fong away to another spot, Vin Thon now had to face the attack from that man, but he seriously underestimated him. Didn't I say it's not your turn to speak? Vin Thon's arm swung a strike and shattered. Yo, that man made him spin 360 degrees in the air, then slammed straight into the big wall behind. Long got up, crawling. Nata shouted. Ho spat out a mouthful of blood, his face showing some shock. Who the hell is this guy? I know all the big shots in this area, but this one's a total stranger. Looks like we can't take this lightly. Then, turning his back to that man, one of Vin Thon's calves was itching badly. Next, he dashed beside that guy. Although his speed was impressive, the man couldn't help but flash a sly grin. Looks like he's fallen into his trap. Then his invisible aura instantly struck straight at Vin Thon's head, piercing right through his body and pinning him down. That NATO guy was super cocky, going straight for the kill. Fighting between adventurers isn't just about strength. How can a newbie like him compete with an old gangster like me? But looks like this old gangster talks too much. A beam of light shone from Vinthan's body, then the invisible aura was instantly shattered, successfully breaking the opponent's suppression. Seeing this, the NATO guy was shocked to the point he couldn't close his mouth, shielding himself. He blocked all the attacks. That yellow talisman shield, could it be that the opponent is a knight? Kwang frowned angrily. Look at that rude punk in front of Vinthan asking for trouble. Honestly, I'm a bit disappointed. A level 4 adventurer assassin is just that. Your grandma's attacks are stronger than his. A weakling with an ego. Totally not worth Vinthan's fight. Tell your master to stop targeting my people, otherwise I'll wipe out their entire guild. At this point, the NATO guy, proud as a strong man, couldn't stand the disrespect. He swung his hand, preparing an aura attack, then slammed both hands hard, and the whole space was instantly cut off in a flash. But for Vinthan, these moves were just child's play. That kid's probably about to meet his maker. No matter how strong the attack was, Vinthan stood tall, staring down his opponent. Then a huge explosion erupted. But he was completely unharmed. The attack was definitely stronger, but still couldn't break his defense. If you can't break the defense, then try this move. Saying that, the NATO guy pulled out from his sleeve. I grabbed my pants, an equipment item, then swung it hard to attack. Vinthan guessed the opponent was about to play dirty on him. Vinthan immediately swung his arm out to block it, but unfortunately this move was parried by the guy with one strike. He stabbed straight into Vinthan's stomach. This demon-breaking sword nearly drained all his energy. It's a weapon specialized in killing mages. Like Vinthan, who was ready to block, he just glared at the dude in front of him. Is it really specialized in killing mages like you? Look, your sword blade is still barely out, yet you're already acting cocky. Why don't you open those big eyes and see that your weapon which you bragged about is cracking apart? Right after that, no need to say more, the sword shattered into pieces. In the opponent's stunned eyes, he didn't even have time to react. Vinthan instantly raised his knee and kicked straight into the guy's face, sending him flying like he was headed to the moon. Meeting the moon rabbit. Even while soaring through the air, this dude still couldn't believe his opponent had a second layer of shield. But how the hell could the second shield crush a demon-breaking sword? Not wanting to go unanswered, the guy tried to grab Vinthan's attention. If you kill him, the guild behind him won't let it slide. So what? Right after the guy's body burst into flames, with Vinthan stomping all over him, then kicking him hard into a big rock in the corner. Watching this whole scene, the bystanders were still shocked. Just one fight with the Lord had them fully grasp his skills, even combining those skills with their own traits to level up. At this point, after killing that dude, Vinthan collected experience points. Before, he only focused on fighting monsters, never attacking people, let alone killing them. Plus, the Spirit Light Guild forbids such acts. Counting it up, it seems getting experience from adventurers is way easier than dungeon grinding. At some level, 3 city, a sword / cut a person in half. A masked teenager and the elite level 6 hunter, Chao Engan, struck with total calm. Then his younger brother Chao Dong stepped up to him. He wasn't interested in this kill to level up stuff. Like Chao Engan was here today, just to hand over experience points to the opponent. Isn't Chao Engan known for killing adventurers to level up? These 5 guys definitely have way more experience than those level 3 mobs. Let's see if they're interested. Meanwhile, at Din Fong's house, watching his buddy train muscles like crazy, Vinthan felt dizzy. Just finished healing his wounds. Is it really necessary to risk it all like that? Of course it's beneficial. On the flip side, Vinthan has been staying home these days. Why isn't he hyping up leveling in the city like before? Who said I'm not leveling up? Right now my minions are grinding monsters in the city and my experience is skyrocketing. At level 6 city, the demon cave returned to its demonic form, and the bystanders were pumped, shouting orders to the diggers. The Tower Lake Rogue Guild and Han's Thunderstrike crew were fierce. But Vinthan's minions fighting here were getting mouthy, looking up at the fat guy in front, who was also a minion. What right does he have to yell at them? They're working here, yet he dares to take advantage. So, they're just here to party in that Thai Nguyen Tui form. But looking at this chubby dude's face, does he look scared or what? He's fat, but not dumb, except for that rotten worm. He's the first to follow Vinthan, but how could anyone trust that worm's smarts? Isn't everyone supposed to call him Big Bro? If you know what's good for you, just listen up. So, yeah, despite their differences, they all charge straight ahead. Whoever the demon who racks up the most XP for the boss becomes the leader. Just like that, a huge fireball was launched by Bang Dik, burning down the demons in front of him. The XP gained skyrocketed. In no time, Bang Dik wiped out all those demons, turning them into dust. Looking at the results, he was super satisfied, then turned to leave. The cursed form his master gave him was seriously strong, boosting his attacks big time. But because he was so full of himself, Bang Dik didn't notice a shadow rushing at him from somewhere. At that moment, a surviving demon swung a wooden stick, but don't think everyone's as clueless as you. Let me remind you again, Bangditch is fat, not slow. With one strike, he sliced off that spinning TH-level thing. The assassin inside the tower lake wasn't about to lose either. Facing a charging demon, he raised 2 fingers and unleashed an attack. Bangditch's not the only one who knows how to use AoE. Against the crazed demons rushing in, the assassin inside the tower lake set a trap hidden in the ground. Right after, an invisible force pierced through the hungry demons' bodies, so powerful it cracked the ground beneath them. How's that? His AoE is sick. Just as good as Bangditch's. Not to be outdone, the other two, including the thunder-wielding Kessie, charged forward too. Thanks to these 2 idiots for burning up the monsters for him. Then, he instantly unleashed a huge beam of light, blowing away the demons in front of him in a flash. Meanwhile, Vintan was strolling through the forest gaining tons of XP. Something's weird today. XP is spiking unusually fast. Looks like the minions are really grinding hard in the demon's lair. At the same time, on the other side, standing before the just-opened space gate, a voice called out to the guy beside him. It's the level 5 dwarf warrior. But why is Dintfong bringing along another dwarf? So all this time, Numang's lovers would risk it all, just for some small ore, to lure the boss to wipe out the squad. Hearing this, Feda immediately dropped his big axe, looking serious, and told Vinthan, "You're totally misunderstanding. He only knows greed, for money is a strength, not a weakness. Forget the dwarf, there's another member in the team. Look up, she's here, a level 5, giant race archer, super tall, but kinda shy." The moment she saw the 3 people, she blushed like a teenage girl and hid behind a rock. And the last one just arrived too, Xiaoyungan, a level 4 adventurer hunter. He's disguised as a clumsy newbie. But Xiaoyungan is super confident. He's never appeared in public before. These rookies definitely think he's a noob. Then he stepped forward, chatting cheerfully with Dintfong, but only Vinthan stayed alert. He really looks level 4, but Vinthan always felt something was off. Still, that weird vibe wasn't clear yet, so he just stuck with the team. Moving inside the level 6 dungeon, let's pause here and rewind to 2 hours earlier in Dinfong's room. Right now, they need to form a 5-person squad to raid another dungeon. Although forming a team isn't hard, Vinthan is really pushing it, having so many juniors tagging along to fight monsters for him, and he even personally leads the squad into the dungeon. Wouldn't it be better to let the juniors finish the fight and then hang out together? Staring at the phone screen in front of him, Vinthan knows he has to act fast this time. Being late by just 1 step on the new dungeon means other guilds could snatch it away. And this dungeon boss is a different type that counters his style. That's why all 5 of them are inside the My Forest dungeon. Or maybe this time stepping into this space gives Xiaoyungan chills down his spine. Don't the others feel this dungeon is way too eerie? Still shivering from the cold, suddenly Alin shyly offers Xiaoyungan a massive lollipop. Blushing hard. This is the magic lollipop. She eats it when she's nervous. It's addictive. Watching those 2 laugh together, Vinthan suddenly snaps back, realizing the drug is nowhere to be found. Turns out that short guy is dazed by the pile of spirit stones in front of him. Over in another corner, with so many blue magic ores, he's definitely hitting the jackpot. Not wasting a second, Fa bends down and keeps striking straight ahead to mine the magic ores. Roaming through a path full of magic ores, Fa finally finds a spot where a shining yellow magic ore chunk lies. That's a rare ore. Unable to contain his excitement, Fa immediately lunges down to mine the treasure in front of him, but when he blinks, his rare ore suddenly turns into a patch of black rock and dirt. Meanwhile, the other 4 can't help but worry about the greedy short guy. They've been out for a long time. This spot probably has the most magic ores in this terrain, attracting the short guy the most. While they're discussing a big move, everyone suddenly jolts. Ahead, the short guy is running away, looking pale. Turns out he's being chased by a horde of monsters. Seeing this, Dinfong's lips curl into a smirk. Then he pulls out his weapon from his personal space. But no one expects another figure behind, taller and more dangerous. It's the rare level 7 boss, the My Wraith. At this moment, Dinfong's confident smile vanishes. That short, reckless guy really is useless. Facing this situation, Xiaoyungan also senses something's off. He was thinking of finding a chance to deal with his companions. But the short guy dragged an even worse monster here. Smart move. In the end, Xiaoyungan abandons the pile of mobile experience points in front of him, turns around and runs for his life. Meanwhile, the big cave door suddenly lights up, then explodes, sending black smoke everywhere. Seeing the intruders fleeing, the big boss roars loudly, tears streaming down, drooling like a fountain. Facing this cold torrent of tears, Vinthan, who is running, suddenly freezes. With such a wide-range attack, they can't escape. Raising one hand, Vin Thon creates a radiant shield, directly protecting everyone from the attack. Facing the hot liquid flowing from the hand that formed Vin Thon's shield, it suddenly emits black energy, then breaks through the defense. If yours fell inside the level 5 radiant shield's range, it still couldn't block the level 7 boss's corrosion skill. And your current shield only works on yourself, so continuing like this isn't the plan. Fong and the others will get swarmed sooner or later. Clenching his hand lightly, only invincible, Huan Shun. Huan Vin Thon created a small whirlwind and escaped. One of his demon slaves, the La Oak, was summoned. There's no time to waste. Vin Thon ordered the La Oak to quickly dig a tunnel and lead everyone out. As long as that happens, a huge underground cave was dug out. The three of them could safely get out, while Vin Thon stayed behind. He's fine. Following the tunnel, the three avoided danger, while that Xiao Ngan guy stood aside watching everything. Luckily, he ran fast. Otherwise, he'd be dead like a fool turning into a puddle of blood. At this moment, in front of the big boss's gaze, that green liquid suddenly got blown away, leaving Xiao Ngan so shocked he couldn't close his mouth. Now Vin Thon has leveled up. Let's see how he handles facing that rare boss. Facing Vin Thon's defiant power, Shonan was completely stunned, pulling his hair out and not attacking at all, leveling up like this. How could that even happen? Or maybe we have to rewind to 5 minutes earlier, inside Vin Thon's demon city. After a long session of digging, they created a giant demon pit. Almost all the demons in this city were wiped out by them. Not only that, as soon as the La OC was summoned by its master, it immediately realized the battle on the other side wasn't easy. It wanted to join the fight badly. Meanwhile, Vin Thon just got startled as the big boss's giant foot stomped straight forward to attack. Usually monsters that big move kinda slow, so attacking the foot is the most effective move. But so what? With just one slash, Vin Thon directly chopped off that stone ankle, making the big boss lose balance, wobble for a moment, then crash down hard. Spinning his sword 360 degrees, Vin Thon instantly shot up high, then spun another 360 degrees for style. Just as he was about to strike, bam! The boss's huge hand came down, squeezing him like a bug to crush, but there's no way Vin Thon would be defeated that easily. From inside that hand, a brilliant light burst out, then the stone hand shattered completely. Seizing the chance, Vin Thon flew up and stabbed the big Radiant Saint boss's head with a powerful strike. Boom! A huge explosion erupted, his massive flames blazing the force, blowing everything away. Watching Vin Thon fight the short guy was shocked, speechless, and Dich Fong was beyond proud of his best bud. But only Vin Thon in this corner knew the truth. Though almost out of mana, this boss was just one level above him, so this fight intensity wasn't a fair match. Glancing down at the foot, he stood on the green liquid bubbled up, then more and more, until suddenly a round blob formed right in front of him. It exploded immediately. Quickly dodging the unexpected shockwave, Vin Thon's eyes stayed locked forward. His mana was too low, the demon shield couldn't hold much longer. Seeing this scene, the three guys behind were totally freaked out. Those huge poisonous bones were caused by the toxic solution, vaporizing after the surface fire heated up Vin Thon's flames. Not only that, the boss had a second phase, and the battlefield was getting even more brutal. This dense bone poison was both corrosive and blocked vision. But why didn't Vin Thon switch all his minions over to help? Inside the forest, Vin Thon was already covered by that poisonous bone. Right now, the minions' experience points were rising super fast. Soon he could hit level 7. Gotta hold on a bit longer, but where the heck was that boss? Suddenly a tremor came from behind. Vin Thon instantly spun around, throwing a flame attack back there. But there was nothing at all. This was a classic feint. Right after a hand swung from behind, trying to grab him. With his quick reflexes, Vin Thon immediately turned to block the attack. Looks like this boss knew about his magic armor. It charged in for close combat, trying to speed up the depletion of his magic armor, but it seriously underestimated him. Vin Thon swung his big sword again, slashing straight at the boss. At the same time, the poisonous bones dissolved. Retreating back to where Vin Thon stood, Din Fong couldn't help but cheer after his buddy successfully killed the boss. Meanwhile, the short guy was picking up the leftover magic ore shards. Aelin followed him, busy collecting those magic ores. Feta got a bit annoyed when Aelin stopped him. "What are you picking up?" With just that, Fa suddenly looked around in surprise. He didn't have any magic ore at all, only bones everywhere. He hurriedly dumped all the stuff he'd gathered. Feta turned pale, his whole body trembling. "Damn it, oh short king, look at this, where's all the magic ore?" He'd been grinding hard for rare loot, but it was all for nothing. He collapsed to the ground. Only then did Fa realize that when he entered this dungeon, he'd been cursed or bewitched by that boss. But one question remained: why wasn't Aelin affected? Even she didn't know. The explanation was simple: the poisonous bones usually sank to the lower levels. And since she was tall, she dodged the disaster. But he was the shortest, so he got hit the hardest. At that moment, Din Fong looked over at Vinthon, but no response came. He reached out to shake Vinthon awake. Snap! Din Fong's hand was instantly severed, fresh blood spurting out. Meanwhile, Vinthon, who was just there, was knocked flat on his back. What the hell was going on? And who cut off Din Fong's hand? Wasn't the boss already dead? Before he could figure it out, fresh blood splattered across Din Fong's face. Then he collapsed right in front of the two lying unconscious on the ground. The big boss's lips curled into a smirk. This adventurer was truly special. He had a demonic aura surrounding him. She had to study his body to uncover what secrets he was hiding inside. Then the boss charged forward, ready to attack. Suddenly, a huge hammer flew out from somewhere, blocking the boss and pushing her back, then returning to its owner's hand. Feta glanced over at Din Fong and Vinthon lying there, and it seemed they were both poisoned, trapped in an illusion battle, still not fully conscious. The entity was defeated, but he still arrived one step too late, and at this point, the boss seemed a bit confused about why this short guy was still here. Wasn't he supposed to be gathering magic ores? Meanwhile, the woman beside him was questioning herself. Suddenly, a massive arrow was shot. It just whooshed past the boss and flew away, taking advantage of the big boss being distracted by the sneaky woman. From one side, he grabbed his big hammer again and charged forward, swinging it down hard, quickly reaching out to grab the gear. The big boss seemed pissed off. Being 2 levels lower than her, did he really think this kind of attack could hurt her? If he was willing to throw himself at her, then let her have her way. Right after that, green liquid sprayed again, trying to corrode the short guy in front of her. A moment later, as the boss turned to grab Aylin's big guy, a hand instantly grabbed her ankle, ignoring the fact that it was still steaming. Feta stubbornly blocked her from making a move, and because of that, when the arrow flew in, the boss couldn't dodge in time. Seeing this, Feta couldn't help but chuckle with satisfaction. Don't know if our short guy has some rock-throwing skills or what. Even though he faced a level 2 poison skill effect, at least it gave him a chance to hold the big boss down. But just when they thought the boss was hit, she still managed to catch the arrow in time. Then she used a skill to melt it. Seeing this, both Aylin hiding in the bushes and Feta on the ground were shocked. How did she not get hurt at all? The boss's lips curled up confidently. Do you really think 2 low-level adventurers like you could hurt me? Ridiculous. Then the boss coldly sprayed her green liquid again toward Feta. Her teammate was being taken out because of her. And Aylin in the bushes couldn't help but call out his name, finally creating an opening for that woman to notice. She immediately pointed a finger forward, shooting a poison projectile that directly hit Aylin. After dealing with the obstacle, the boss stepped toward Vinthon. Now she could study this adventurer, who had a demonic aura. But when she turned back, Vinthon was nowhere to be seen. Could he still be alive? The kid who was lying nearby was also missing. Following the blood trail into the forest right now, Ding Fong, bleeding heavily, was struggling to carry Vinthon away. They had to hold on, and absolutely couldn't die in this remote place. It was easy to tell how the prey was moving inside the forest. The boss was obviously thrilled. She stretched out a hand, gathering a massive amount of energy. Those 2 scaredy rats definitely wouldn't escape this place. Then she unleashed a long beam of energy straight into the forest, quickly catching up to Ding Fong. To his stunned eyes, boom, the whole thing exploded. Faced with such a blazing attack, the boss just clicked her tongue. The attack wasn't controlled well. Looks like she wiped out that special adventurer too. What a pity, but there's no way that happened. Suddenly Vinhan's hand appeared, blocking the attack. Then he slowly spoke. He wasn't quite sure about the boss's skills, but he had already leveled up to level 7. Seeing the kid level up to 7 without doing anything, the boss looked really surprised by his experience points. So where the hell did it come from? Of course, it's thanks to those slaves who are all in on their craft that Vinthon reached this level. Standing there, watching the demon lying dead, with a grimace, right in front of the enemies, totally satisfied, finally broke through this dungeon. That means his master can chill and level up to 7. Back to the Mii Forest dungeon. Or hey, standing face to face with the big boss confronting head on. From the start, there were no grudges, no illusions here. From the moment they stepped into this dungeon, they gradually entered a hallucination state under the influence of the thin, poisonous gas. Looking at the flames blazing in his hand, now the poison gas in this dungeon can be burned by his fire. Before it didn't burn, because his skill level wasn't high enough. This flammable attribute was suppressed. Then, after Vinthon's words, the boss immediately launched an attack at him, then fired multiple venomous multi-strain bullets, trying to finish off the opponent. Those poison bullets exploded everywhere. Vinthon ran through it like a fireworks show, huh? But now the boss's attacks are nothing to Vinthon, just running straight. He grabbed his sword and slid right in front of her, dodging the incoming poison bullets, slashing hard at the enemy. But this time, it still wasn't easy to take her down. Look at that, such a huge wound healing insanely fast. And now, facing Vin Thon, the boss couldn't joke around anymore, gathering venom in one hand, gritting her teeth and charging. Although that big wound is healing, it'll definitely leave a scar later. She won't be rocking bikinis anymore. Like that, the two immediately faced off with blue and red auras, neither side backing down. The atmosphere was super tense, but the boss still kept mocking. Looks like Vin Thon has no memory, huh? Her poison met his fire, and vaporized into toxic gas, draining his shield again, and he got poisoned once more. Vin Thon stayed super calm at that. Is that so? Gotta try it to know. Right after, he used the fiery flame skill, burning even stronger. Unbelievable, the boss's confident yang poison was completely incinerated. Shocked, she exploded right there, now wounded badly. With her hair singed, the boss had no choice but to retreat, exhaling a relieved breath. Lucky the same move fooled that brat. The key was to escape first. She'd come back after healing to find Vin Thon. Even if she couldn't beat him, she'd settle the score by wiping out the rest of his team. But that was just her plan. Not long after stepping away, a sudden flash of light sliced right past her. Then, her horns were abruptly cut off. An ambush. Is there a sixth player? At that moment, a hand reached out to catch the woman's body. The enemy looked down, staring hard. She wasn't human but counted as the seventh. Without giving the boss time to react, the enemy counterattacked directly. A huge flame blew her flying. Then the eighth appeared, slashing fiercely forward. Finally, it flew straight into Laok's mouth. No way to let Laok blatantly devour the boss like that. The three immediately forced it to spit her out. After watching for a bit, it seemed she still had some breath left. As soon as they heard Vin Thon approaching, the three demon slaves instantly knelt down respectfully. Seeing this scene, the female boss, they just don't get those losers, clearly all demons. Like, huh, why bow down to a human? Oh, death won't make me submit either. Oh, so death's still on the table. Then Vin Thon is happy to grant that wish, not letting that woman stop him in time, swinging big and hitting her hard. Waking up again, the first thing he sees are three ugly demon faces grinning at him. They've got a new disciple now. At this moment, looking at Vin Thon, the female boss immediately dropped to her knees, submitting to the Lord. After this, Vin Thon's power increased significantly. Even his minions felt their strength grow a lot too. Growing up with the Lord is seriously awesome. Meanwhile, Alan rushed over, holding Fia and Din Fong in his arms. They're barely hanging on. Alin already used up all the basic healing potions on them, but their injuries are still super serious. At that moment, Fan Se Waikesi spoke up. This small stuff, how can we leave it to the Lord? If you can handle it, let him step back. Without hesitation, Yessie used her healing magic on the two lying on the ground. The boss's experience points were just a bit short of leveling up, otherwise they'd be back to full health by now. But strangely, the little monsters that appeared with the boss earlier now couldn't be sensed at all. So where did those little monsters go? Facing this question, Oan Lamai Tuong pointed out to Vin Thon that there were some treasures ahead, only she knew where. Hearing this, the bystanders couldn't help but feel annoyed. Just became the Lord's servant, and already showing loyalty, trying to win favor. This wicked woman is truly evil. Looking at Din Fong being healed in front of them, their complexion had improved a lot. Though they can't be resurrected, at least their lives aren't in danger. Ma will wait outside to find a high-level priest to treat them. So, Vin Thon entrusted Aline to lead the two out of the city, to find a priest for treatment. Cost is no worry for him. Then he ordered the inner tower assassin to follow Inin to guard against other demons in his demon realm, trying to hunt for level 4 blood. The earlier ones have disappeared already. The boss Qian just started and he ran off. Aline's got a level 7 inner tower guard with him, so no problem there. Now heading out of the city with the inner tower guard. He couldn't help but wonder why Alan wrapped that scarf around the short guy. To this question, Alan's cheeks flushed pink. That's because Fata's armor got destroyed by Tali. Can't just leave him in the cage like that, right? Exhaling. Demons like the inner tower guard. From past lives to this one, it's hard to understand Alin's actions. Teammates are for using, whether he has a cage or not, it's no concern. Lost in conversation when his foot stepped somewhere, the inner tower guard suddenly jolted. Right after, a big trap sprung up from the ground. Then, before he could react, a coil of chain flew out and wrapped around his arm. Another ambush expert like him. So boring. He slammed the chain off hard, but just as he did, dozens of similar chains swung in, wrapping tightly around his body, suspending him in midair. At this moment, Aylin was freaking out down there. Because of that, she didn't even catch the warning from Noi Thap Do before that sneaky Xiao Nyan dude charged at her from behind with a wicked grin. Noithopdo wasn't about to let the enemy run wild, so he quickly leapt out of the chains, then jumped down and rushed over to Aelin. Seeing this, Xiaoyan immediately gathered energy in his hand, thinking I just hope he doesn't get to him. Meanwhile, the treasure chest finally opened, revealing rare magic ore inside. But wait a sec. Vinthon sensed something and realized Noithopdo was being ambushed. The remaining treasure was handed to Tali. After opening it, they regrouped at the entrance below the city, and over here, after a short while, Aelin was lying motionless on the ground, with Xiaoyan and Noithopdo fighting beside her. Looking down at the nasty black stuff at his feet, he couldn't believe that sneaky bastard had already set up an ambush on the path they had to take. What the heck was that sticky stuff? Stepping in front of Noithopdo, Xiaoyan was super confident. It was his signature skill. That black trap used enhancement magic, so you can't get out. After he dealt with you, more ambushes would be waiting here to attack your master. Seriously, is he counting experience for just one person or the whole crew? Hearing this, Noithopdo was pissed, thinking, just because of Xiaoyan, you dare to have opinions about the Lord. You think your camouflage skill is level 7 or what? Camouflage. The reason it's visible to the eye is a manifestation of a huge illusion to widen the power gap between sides. The observed person can use skills to remove camouflage, or adventurers can suppress themselves. Camouflage level drops to low. But high-level camouflage is tough. If you don't have the power to back it up, it's easy to see through. Hearing this, Noithopdo was a bit stunned. Is Xiaoyan really level 7? No way. Even if he got boss experience, he couldn't jump straight from level 4 to 7. But actually, this guy was already level 6 from the start, not just from boss experience. Guess what? Where did all the little monsters in the city go? Only now did Noithopdo get it. Vinthon, did you hear that? Just as Xiaoyan swung his sword to attack, suddenly his blade was blocked out of nowhere. Vinan had arrived. You heard that clearly earlier, not letting that guy recover. Waikesi ran up from behind, ready to smash that bastard's face, but with his combat skills, Xiaoyan instantly cast a stone pillar trap spell strong and solid. The opponent turned to look at Vinthon, and he charged forward. Too bad, Vinthon noticed and leapt high. As Vinthon circled behind, he immediately fell into Xiaoyan's loving trap, getting swallowed whole. Seeing his prey so easily trapped, Xiaoyan looked pretty damn pleased, flashing a friendly middle finger insult. Then he made his trap sprout sharp spikes. Wait, but there's no experience window yet. That kid's taking hits pretty well, still breathing. While saying this, suddenly a red flame shot out, instantly burning him to a crisp, hovering in the air with Vinthon. Luckily, the enemy followed his lead. He summoned you out first, but taking down that guy, probably not yet. The one just burned seemed to be someone else. Meanwhile, over here at his own camouflage trap, Xiaoyan appeared instantly, but hadn't done anything yet. He was startled when he sensed Vinthon's Laok sniffing him out, and immediately signaled the monster. Silence doesn't mean it's an easy win. Right after that, the rival suddenly appeared, casually throwing a lit match at that jerk as a bonus gift, but ultimately letting the guy escape, running away like a stray mutt. After running a bit, the inner tower figure appeared, directly launching an attack at the guy. Because of the huge strike, all of Xiaoyan's traps also activated at once, clustering neatly in one spot. The guy was totally freaked out. That demon engineer wasn't dead yet. He even used an AoE skill that triggered all his traps at once. Now there's no time to set new traps, and he's got no chance of winning. Still trying to run at this point. Get real, man. No way he's getting away. From who knows when Tali showed up behind spitting liquid right in that dude's face. Watching that scumbag get taken down when he opened his eyes again, he'd already become a demon hunter for Vinthon. Now that guy's the rookie in the squad. Haha, better call the big bro. After assigning tasks to everyone, Vinthon looked at Xiaoyan. He and the inner tower figure would transform back into humans and return to their own guild, telling their people that Vinthon and his team were wiped out to keep them at ease. Then they'd stay put and report any intel to him. Meanwhile, elsewhere, an adventurer group was running scared, getting chased by a level 10 wildflower boss, a huge centaur beast. Only one dude, the adventurer, warrior, and guild leader, Xiaojiet Xiaohat, was standing cool and calm alone on the cliff. That's all for my video. Above is the summary of part 1 of the series. If you have any thoughts, drop them in the comments below. Don't forget to leave me a like, subscribe, and hit the bell to catch more awesome videos. For now, goodbye and see you next time. Bye-bye.